The emergency room exploded into chaos just after sunrise. Stretchers rushed through the bright hospital doors, alarms echoed across the spotless hallways, and frightened families stood frozen as medical teams scrambled to save lives. Then, without warning, the quiet new nurse stepped forward and began issuing sharp, confident commands that sounded more like battlefield orders than hospital instructions. Every head turned. Even the senior doctor stopped moving, staring at her in stunned silence as if he had just seen a ghost from another life. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, courage, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel Pure Kindness. Your support helps us bring more heart-touching stories like this to life. The new nurse's name was Mara Ellison, a 34-year-old woman with calm gray eyes, neatly tied dark brown hair, and a gentle smile that rarely revealed the weight she carried inside. She had joined Greenridge Memorial Hospital only 3 days earlier. Most people assumed she was shy because she spoke little and always listened more than she talked. No one knew that before becoming a nurse, Mara had spent years serving as a combat medic, making impossible decisions under terrifying pressure while trying to keep wounded soldiers alive in places where every second mattered. The hospital's respected trauma surgeon, Dr. Rowan Mercer, had built a reputation for remaining calm in every emergency. His steady hands had saved countless lives, and younger doctors admired his confidence. Yet even Rowan had never experienced a morning quite like this one. A terrible highway accident had sent multiple critically injured patients rushing into the emergency department at exactly the same time. Beds filled instantly, supplies disappeared quickly, and the carefully organized system began slipping toward complete disorder. As panic quietly spread through the emergency room, Mara noticed small mistakes multiplying. Staff members were searching for equipment instead of treating patients. Vital information was being repeated instead of acted upon. Precious seconds were disappearing. Something inside her awakened. Without hesitation, she stepped into the center of the room and began assigning tasks with remarkable precision. Her voice was clear, steady, and impossible to ignore. Nurses immediately understood where they needed to be. Technicians stopped hesitating. Equipment arrived exactly where it was needed. Within moments, confusion gave way to disciplined teamwork. Dr. Rowan watched in disbelief. Those commands were not ordinary hospital instructions. They followed the same organized rhythm used by elite combat medical units. Years earlier, before dedicating himself entirely to civilian medicine, Rowan had volunteered overseas as a humanitarian surgeon supporting military medical teams. He had heard those exact command patterns during some of the most dangerous days of his career. Hearing them again instantly brought back memories he had spent years trying to bury. As patient after patient stabilized, Rowan realized something remarkable. Mara wasn't trying to take control. She was protecting everyone from fear. Her leadership wasn't built on authority but on experience earned through sacrifice. Between emergencies, he quietly observed the exhausted nurse washing dried blood from her hands before gently comforting an elderly patient who had no family beside him. The same woman who had directed the room with military precision now spoke with extraordinary tenderness, reminding frightened patients that they were safe. Over the following days, stories about Mara slowly surfaced. Former military colleagues described how she had repeatedly risked her own safety to rescue injured strangers. She had received medals she never displayed and recognition she never mentioned. After losing close friends during one heartbreaking mission, she quietly left military service, believing hospitals would allow her to continue saving lives without carrying the same painful memories. Yet those memories had never truly disappeared. They had simply become silent lessons that shaped every decision she made. Rowan eventually understood that true strength often arrives wearing ordinary clothes. He thanked Mara privately, admitting that her courage had reminded the entire hospital what teamwork really meant. The emergency department changed after that day. Nurses, doctors, cleaners, technicians, and reception staff no longer saw themselves as separate roles. They became one united team, each person equally important in the fight to save lives. Patients noticed the difference. Families noticed it too. Hope began replacing fear in ways that no medical textbook could ever explain. Weeks later, a grateful family returned carrying homemade thank you cards for every member of the emergency department. One small child handed Mara a drawing of a superhero wearing blue scrubs instead of a cape. She smiled through tears, realizing that the greatest rewards were never medals or applause but knowing someone would go home because everyone had worked together with compassion and trust. If this story has touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Pure Kindness. Your support encourages us to keep sharing stories that remind the world how powerful kindness can truly be. Rose special request: comment below with the words, "Kindness leads the way," if you believe ordinary people can become heroes simply by choosing compassion when others need it most. As the sun poured through the hospital windows that peaceful afternoon, Dr. Rowan looked across the busy emergency room and saw Mara quietly preparing supplies for the next patient. No spotlight followed her. No applause filled the halls. But everyone who had witnessed that unforgettable morning knew the truth. Sometimes the bravest commander isn't the one wearing a uniform. Sometimes it's the quiet nurse whose courage reminds an entire hospital, and all of us, that the greatest victories are won through kindness, calm hearts, and the willingness to serve others before ourselves.